Whoa, 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 whoa. When in the hell did you get all that money? Bro, the stock market just crashed. We're losing money by the second. Here, this is all I can sacrifice. Black Tuesday is among us. Run far away. We may not last much longer. Well, last week's video was sad and daunting, and well, this week I'm bringing you yet again another sad and daunting video. The only difference is that this one is about the economy, not white supremacy. If I sound different, it's because I'm recording this on my computer, not my iPad. Anyway, let's talk about some of the cool shit the 1920s had. Like money. And band-aids. Yeah, band-aids. So in the 1920s, money was pretty much the shit. Money was used for everything like it is now, but in the 1920s, the thing that made money so good is that the technology advancements were huge. Like nowadays, you know, we have stuff that oh my god, it's the Titanic. Holy shit, I'm kidding, it's not the Titanic. If it was the Titanic, it would be on the bottom of the ocean. It's a replica. It's a replica. Anyway, with the improvements in automobiles and the invention of the radio and band-aids, basically, people would spend money on a lot of stuff. But people also saved money. Yes, they bought cars and they went radios and band-aids, but they would save their money too. And this money that they saved would go into stocks. They would buy stocks and put their money in there. When the stock market crashed, this is where the problem happened. With so many people having money in those stocks, when the stock market crashed, all their money went with it, leaving millions of people broke. Before the stock market crashed, money was practically worshipped like religion. People would throw their money up in the air because they just had that much. America ran on money. Well, until it didn't. Okay, so the 1920s is the decade when America's economy grew by 42%. The mass production spread new customer goods in every household, along with the modern auto and airline industries being born. The U.S. victory in World War I gave the country its first experience of being a global power. So it's powerful and rich. Well, that's hot, is it not? Okay, I'll leave the party. Anyway, banks became a huge problem. People were demanding money, and when they didn't get it... Come on, guys, really? Let's talk boom. So as you can see by the graph here, this is America's economy. America's economy was booming, but Europe's was failing. Europe took a huge hit after World War I. This is UK's inflation, as you can see, went hugely down in 1920. America had money to reign for days. But let's talk stocks real quick. Okay, so you see this guy here? We're gonna give him the name of George, because why not? So George has a lot of money, like he is stupid rich. But he needs something to do with this money because he doesn't want to haul it around anymore. So he goes to the bank to see if they can help him out. And the bank gives him an option. Stocks. He could put his money in a stock and he wouldn't have to worry about carrying around, but he won't lose it. So he gave the bank his money and he walked out with all his money, but not on his hands. A lot of people bought stocks in the 1920s. They just figured it was the most easiest way to save money and keep it off their hands. In the Roaring 20s, this was just a huge thing, especially because so many people had massive amounts of money due to World War I being over and all the money coming from there. You know, the 1920s would experience a lot of economic issues near the end. If we look back at this diagram, you can see that there is some purchases and credit, and then you have mass production of objects such as cars and band-aids. And then you have electricity that came into the 1920s. This became super popular. And then you have a huge economy, booming American economy. Let's talk war. With World War I ending, this gave America a huge boom in the economy, soaring through money because of war costs. Anyway, on the other side of the world, Germany was not so lucky. You know, see, Germany started this war because they're assholes, and basically, they had to pay a whole bunch of money, and France tortured them. Because let me tell you something, France really hated Germany at this time. Anyway, America tried to help Germany out by giving it a whole bunch of money, but when America's stock market crashed, Germany ran into a lot of problems of its own. You see, during the war, Germany wasted all of its money on war equipment, war costs, and all of stuff like that. So when it came time for Germany to surrender, they had to pay back a huge amount of money to the Allies. But here's the problem. Germany did not have that money because, well, they used it all. So Germany decided to print more money because they're idiots. But when you print more money, it doesn't make you stupid rich. It actually makes that money less and less valuable. So basically, Germany just had a bunch of worthless paper. One thing that helped America's economy grow so much is that none of the battles of World War I took place on the US mainland. So no need to repair war damages. Germany and France, however, did have a much bigger problem. The trenches from trench warfare left scars on the countryside that actually can still be seen today. Germany suffered the most with the Treaty of Versailles, demanding they pay war costs. Well, Germany was broke after freeloading all of its cash in the war, so as I said before, they had to basically print more money, except printing more money does not make more money. It makes more money, but, it doesn't make it more valuable. Dumbasses. Oh, this is also the start of Germany's Great Depression, and it really wasn't until, a crazy man that hated Jews came around and basically said that, hey, I can fix all your problems, and you're gonna love me later. If you don't know who I'm talking about good old inbred Hitler. Anyway, that was pretty much like a small little summary of the economy back then. If you want it even shorter, basically, America was booming, Europe was in the garbage, and basically, it was all doomed to fail. As we will learn, there was a dark version of the economy. This economy would lead to the Great Depression. Okay, so the stock market did not technically crash on just one day. It happened over a series of days. As you can see by this graph, it does not line up with October 29th. It actually began before that. It started on October 24th and lasted through October 29th. October 29th is when it made the biggest drop. October 24th was the beginning of the stock market crash, and October 29th was the beginning of the Great Depression. Banks closed from New York to Chicago to San Francisco, and eventually all around the country, banks closed. So basically, money was flailing everywhere on these days because people wanted to get their money. Now, with America, there were several parts of it that made up the entire economy, I guess you could say. The economy was the biggest. You can't have an economic boom without a strong economy. And that's something America had a problem with. They had this huge economic boom, but their economy was not strong. They were giving money to Germany, and eventually America ran out of money. The 1920s was made up this huge economic boom. The economy rose, stocks rose, but eventually America ran out of money because of their weak economy. Because of this, people were buying all this stuff, people were putting money in the stocks, and eventually it all came back. Except for one problem. It did not come back in money, it came back in tragedy. The stock market crashed on October 29th, 1929. When this stock market crashed, it left millions of people without money, America lost millions of more dollars, and it left many people homeless. Suicide rates skyrocketed during the Great Depression because people did not know what to do with their lives because they had no money. Black Tuesday is single-handedly the worst economic crisis ever. Now, we've had a few other ones of these in 2008 and in 2020, but they weren't nearly as big. By these graphs, you see the downfall. In 1930, Hoovervilles popped up in order to give people homes. They were shanky towns in Central Park. People fought for jobs during this time. Because of this, a lot of people were left jobless. An event called the Dust Bowl also caused some problems. The Great Depression is now in full effect. Black Tuesday changed America forever. It took 25 years for America to recover from this economic crisis. The time of the 1920s jazz, the 1920s spend free was over. People were physically fighting for money. Some people had a little bit of money, but most people had no money. They physically would wait outside docks to get picked to work one day for a limited amount of money. The stock exchange blew up. The economy failed. And because Germany had all America's money, they could not repay America. When America went to go get that money, Germany said, well, I don't know what to tell you. America was broke. This economic crisis is something that we know of history forever. We're nearing the 100-year anniversary later this decade. It's just truly amazing that all this money that happened in this time period took 25 years to fix. And we've had several other problems like this currently. In 2008, we had the Great Recession. The stock market crash left America in shock. It also left them with a crisis unlike anything they had ever seen before.